strategy come from? And that's what I want to talk about today, is that there's been a fundamental disconnect between the idea of strategy and the process of leading strategy. What does it take to lead strategy? What's the human involvement in strategy? We've written it out of the discussion. So what's happened in the last 25 years of strategy is that we've gone from thinking of strategy as an incredibly powerful tool in the hands of a leadership group to thinking about it as an analytical exercise. In the last 25 years, literally thousands of articles and books have been written about strategy. And I bet if you look on your bookshelves, if you look in your magazines, if you look in the paper every day, you see lots and lots about strategy. But virtually nothing has been written about being a strategist or what this role demands of the people who embrace it. What does it mean to be a strategist? What's involved? And what does it take to do it well? John Brown said this about purpose. He said, purpose is who we are and what makes us distinctive. It's what we as a company exist to achieve. Now, it would be easy to take this and come up with mom and apple pie and a few taglines or bylines or whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. If you think about it, actually maybe this is where economics is helpful. What I'm thinking about here is what are the few words that will determine the system. Think about this. Why we exist, what we exist to achieve, what makes us distinctive, right? And the idea is that if you can identify those words, you can manage to those words. And the customers who care about those words can find you. But I can tell you, most companies don't do this. Most companies don't hone in. Most companies don't make choices to be this versus something else. And if you don't make those choices, it's very hard to do anything well because you don't know with clarity what it is you're trying to achieve. So what are those few words that determine everything else in the system, everything else, all the other actions that will flow out? Those are the core. That's where we start. So purpose is who we are and what makes us distinctive as a company. And it's what we as a company exist to achieve. It's why we are. So the hallmarks of great strategy. They're unique, distinctive. They're anchored by clarity of purpose, a purpose that's compelling. They are systems of advantage, not isolated points. They're whole systems. It involves everybody in the company. They produce a difference that matters. And by doing all of these things, they also provide barriers to imitation. They make it more difficult for someone to come in. Not impossible, but they can stay off the imitation for some period of time. And by the way, we had a discussion about this once in class, and someone said, but isn't strategy just something that's known by a few people at the top of a company? And I said, really? And he said, yeah, in our company, they go off in a retreat, and then some of it trickles down a little bit. And, I'm thinking, oh, wow, what do I say now? And somebody says, well, call on John, So I called on John. And John was from, I'm not going to tell you which airline, but from an airline that's one of the most profitable airlines in the world. And he said, in my company, everybody knows what the strategy is. The mechanic knows, the person who's taking your bag. We all know what the strategy is. Because if we didn't know, we couldn't do our job. And we need to do our job well. Everybody knows. Does everybody know in your company? Do you know? So, hallmarks of great strategies.